going. All right.
Go down to the bottom and press the PowerPoint. Yeah.
I've got it. My two screens are giving me some grief.
That's okay. You can go back to that display setting. Yes.
There we go. All right.
I mic and let you reintroduce yourself and go.
Thank you so much, Jackie. As she mentioned, my name is Jen Ostafinsky. I am, all right, that was my cat. She likes to do my presentations for me. I am one of the category managers. One of the reasons why I'm not on videos, because I have two cats that like to make themselves known on videos. Anyway, I am one of the three category managers at Chicago Public Schools. My categories are all of the operational categories, which include transportation, capital and construction, facilities, which is operations and management, nutrition, transportation, and real estate. We also have a team that manages all of the educational aspects and contracts, professional development, materials like teaching materials, things like that. And then the third team is IT and professional services. So, as most of you are probably well aware, Chicago Public School is the third largest school district in the nation, with only over 350,000 students enrolled and more than 600 schools. And so to run a district at that size, we need everything under the sun. So we have a very large pool of vendors. Some of them have contracts, some of them don't have contracts. But to be able to do any work with CPS, you do need to have a vendor number. You do need to be registered, you need to be onboarded. It's a whole process, and there are two ways that you can become a vendor for CPS. One way is to get a principal or a network chief or a department director to sponsor you. This does not result in a contract, but it does give you a vendor number. So schools can make small purchases with you throughout the year. There are some spend limits associated with this, with just having a vendor number and not having a contract. But if you're a local bakery and the school wants to use you as a thank you to the teachers and staff at the end of the year, so they're going to order a big cake. You can become a vendor through the principal sponsoring you, and then they can make the purchase directly with you. And then the nice thing is, once you're sponsored and have a vendor number, not only can you do work with that CPS school, but you can do work with any CPS school. So if there's another one in the neighborhood, you can network with that school and say, hey, I'm a local bakery, I'm already set up as an active vendor. If you ever need anything, you know, here's my card. Let me know if you guys need. We've got cupcakes and cookies, and you know, I feel like I should open a bakery. So it's a really good way to get your foot in the door. The other way to become a CPS vendor is to respond to a solicitation, whether that be an RFP, an RFQ, a bid solicitation. There's several varieties depending on what we're looking for. That is a longer term that does result in a contract. It is there's much more to it. It is where you would come up with a proposal. The proposal is then evaluated by a committee within CPS. There's sometimes oral presentations. You need to go to the board. All sorts of there's way more to it, but like I said, it also does result in a contract that is usually for at least 5 years. Speaking of contracts, like I said earlier, while vendors are able to, in most cases, do business with the district without a contract, there are benefits to having a contract. I had mentioned spend limits earlier. If you do not have a contract, the schools are only allowed to spend up to $25,000 a year with you. That is each school. So again, if you're a very small business, and you're just, trying to keep your business afloat in these very odd times, networking with getting in with the schools and helping them out with things is a great way to start building your business. If you're a large business, then being sponsored is probably not the way that you want to go. Especially for construction, we don't sponsor construction vendors. Those all have to be contracted. Also, a lot of the projects that happen within CPS are automatically over the $25,000 threshold. And then also, if you are contracted, your goods and services are posted they're listed in our marketplace, which is basically CPS's version of Amazon. And so the schools can go into the marketplace, search for whatever they're looking for, and a list of contracted vendors will pop up for them to then be able to investigate where they are, what they do, all that sort of good stuff to decide who they want to do business with. So if it is possible, we do always highly encourage vendors to get on contract. But in the meantime, getting sponsored and being set up with a vendor number is a good way to get yourself started. Now, everything within CPS, all contracts, all projects, everything that is valued over $75,000 do have minority and women business-owned goals associated with them. Generally speaking, the goals for every contract is 30% MBE and 7% WBE. Now, our Office of Business Diversity does do some investigation with every solicitation we do to make sure that those goals are obtainable, and they may be adjusted up, they may be adjusted down. It just all depends on what the market dictates. But like I said, generally speaking, our goals are 30 and 7. If you are looking to get certified, CPS is not a certifying entity. The City of Chicago is, but we do accept any governmental certification, especially within the state of Illinois. So City of Chicago, Cook County, and or the state of Illinois, they're all certifying entities. And like I said, in certain cases, there are contract specific goals. So our Office of Business Diversity will do some investigation with every solicitation to make sure that the goals are fair and equitable and obtainable. So another thing, if you are not a CPS vendor, do not do work if you are not a CPS vendor. Do not do work without a PO. You can't get a PO without being a vendor, without having an active vendor number. You'd be surprised the amount of people that will go into a school without a purchase order and perform work. I strongly advise against it. You may not, probably not, will not get paid. There's no history, there's no tracking of us requesting the services. If you're not set up in the system, we don't have information on like who you are, how to pay you, anything like that. So we know that you guys are eager to do business, but do not do business. Do not go into a school. A lot of the schools will sometimes say, oh, it's fine. We'll set you up later and get you PO. It's good. We just need this done now. For your own sakes and for everybody involved, please do not do work without a PO. And then the rest of this slide is just some general information. If you are a CPS vendor, we do get a lot of questions about how do we invoice, and if we have questions about past payments or when are we going to get our payments, stuff like that. That's information here. All invoices need to be sent electronically to CPS invoice at cps@cps.edu. And then if there's any invoicing questions or payment questions, then that goes to our accounts payable department. And then the very last thing I wanted to share with you guys is we do have some upcoming opportunities across the board, both in my area and then also within education and ITS. So in my area in nutrition, we do have a POS for the meal management. That's an RFP that's going to be coming out shortly. along with a general repair and preventative maintenance of culinary labs and food service equipment. On the larger scale, we do have a food service management service RFP coming out. That should be on the street probably next month. And that is all the meals served and everything to do with feeding the kids of CPS. And if you're a contractor, there's a couple of upcoming opportunities. If you're a general contractor, we are going to be putting out an RFQ for GCs this summer. The current GC contract expires at the end of this year, so everyone is up again for renewal. Well, not renewal, but everyone has to resubmit their qualifications, and it's also a chance for new general contractors to get into the pool. And then on a smaller scale, we also have a various trades pool. These are smaller projects, usually that are only one, maybe two trades involved, and it's a variety of trades. Masonry, plumbing, electrical, communications, audiovisual, artificial turf, the painting, the list is endless. You can apply to both. So we strongly encourage, if you're new to CPS, haven't done really any work with us, to start getting your feet wet with the various trades pool. And then work your way up into the GC pool if that's something that you would like to attain. Or in the meantime, if you're not sure you're ready to get a contract with CPS, we do encourage you to network and become subcontractors to our general contractors. They're really amazing companies that love to take on small companies and help them and teach them and help them to grow. And CPS is, we've got some interesting buildings. Our buildings date back to the late 1800s all the way up to last year. So you will see a lot of stuff within our buildings. Every building is different, which is why we encourage people to become subcontractors and get some experience within CPS under the advisement of a GC who knows CPS well. Or to get into the various trades pool. That is where the schools use those pools to contact vendors who, like, hey, the faucet in the girls' bathroom is leaking. We need somebody to come in and switch out the pipes. They'll go to the various trades pool and reach out to plumbers and get quotes for that. So it's a really good way to get some experience in the CPS schools. For safety and security, we've got an X-ray machine bid coming in, safe passage services, and then also our fingerprinting and background check. Those are all coming out in the next couple of months. And on the education side, we've got a supplemental for educational technology. We have a solicitation for social and emotional learning. And then we also have a solicitation for out-of-school time services. If you've got any questions about any of those, you can feel free to email me and I can put you in contact with the category manager that oversees those solicitations. And then last but not least, if you're interested in any solicitations, our website is cps.edu/procurement, and you can go to opportunities open to the public. Everything that is currently out and ready for people to be working on submissions for is posted there. We also have a 6-month buying plan that is on this same website. If you just scroll down a little bit farther, you'll see 6-month buying plan. You can download that. That is subject to change, but it does give you a good idea of what is coming in the next 6 months for CPS. And that is it for me. So I will give you the reins back.
All right, so I am now going to introduce our next speaker. And for those of you that this was sort of a pairing so that we could make sure that you kind of knew what was on the front from the educational perspective. So our next speaker will be from City Colleges, and I think I have a slide here from City Colleges of Chicago, and that's Jen. I mean, I'm sorry, that is Jacinta Epstein. And I am going to pass the controls to her for this presentation. And then when she has completed her presentation, we will just go ahead and take it back and feel free to uh, uh, submit your questions and we will submit them to the speakers. All right. You want to maximize, yeah, your screen and is this where you want to start?
This is it. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, everyone can hear you.
Okay,
Alex,
great.
go ahead and take it and I'll shut off my mic.
Okay, great. Thank you. So thanks everyone for joining. We are excited to pair up with City of Chicago and our sister agency, Chicago Public School, and to give you some information about City Colleges of Chicago, our past buying history, some upcoming opportunities, and how we make purchases, purchase goods and services at City Colleges of Chicago. Today, I will give you a brief overview, City Colleges of Chicago, also provide an overview of procurement authority, supplier registration, commonly purchased items, and finally, we will discuss MWBE requirements. So first, information about City Colleges of Chicago. We are one of the nation's largest community college districts and largest in Illinois. Something that I really appreciate working at city colleges from a procurement perspective is that we get to leverage our relationships with City of Chicago and the other sister agencies. We are an educational institution, just like Chicago Public Schools, so that there is some overlap there in terms of the types of goods, services, commodities, and equipment that we purchase. And we also get to work with the larger, within a larger context as well, as it relates to other community college districts that are located across the state in Illinois. We've got nearly 4,000 faculty and staff. We have a number of students enrolled to complete their anything from their GED to pursuing higher educational courses. We have 7 campuses that are listed below. At each of these campuses, I should say, there's the opportunity for general education requirements, but some of these colleges are known for specializing or offering fields of study that are more geared to specific vocation or career opportunities. For example, as many of you may know, Malcolm X is well known for its healthcare. Kennedy King, known for automotive. Olive Harvey is known for its transportation center. Truman is known for cosmetology. And the reason why I bring that up is that, as we will discuss shortly, based upon the types of procurement.
As you develop your relationships and seek out opportunities, it helps to know what those types of colleges are known for as it relates to the fields of study that they offer each of their students. So the first thing I will discuss is the dollar threshold. So we don't have sponsors in the way that CPS does, but we do have no competitive bidding that is required for purchases of less than $2,500. So let's say that you have, a really cute product in terms of cosmetology, and you want to reach out to Truman College for that. In that instance, you would be able to do so. And if that is a good or supply that Truman College would be interested in, they would be able to make that purchase without any competitive bidding. Now, one thing that is different here is that our thresholds apply across the district and across each of the campuses. So You don't have the opportunity to say $2,500 with Truman and then another $2,500 with Kennedy King. These thresholds do apply across the district and each of the campuses. But if it's something for a smaller amount and you're trying to establish relationships, this is not something that goes through procurement. The colleges and the district office has the authority in accordance with our board policies to make that purchase without any competitive bidding. The next threshold or bucket or category, I should say, relates to purchases of $2,500 and up to $25,000. So a lot of you who have done business with other government agencies will find that this is often referred to as informal bids. Some government agencies call it small bids. City Colleges doesn't have a name for it. We typically refer to it as a bid recap, but that's an internal term based upon a form that is submitted. So for these types of purchases within these dollar figures, what is required is that someone within a district office or a college is required to obtain 3 price quotations. So let's say that Wright College is looking for art supplies. They would go to Blick or other stores and they would say, hey, we're looking for easels and we're looking for these types of paintbrushes. Can you submit a quote to us? And they would get 3 quotations. Now, our MWBE requirements apply for purchases $25,000 and up. However, for these purchases that fall within these dollar thresholds, the departments and colleges are required to obtain or make an effort to obtain a quote from at least one certified MBE or WBE vendor. They have to go to the directory, City of Chicago directory. Like CPS, City Colleges does not certify businesses as an MBE or WBE, but they have to check the City of Chicago's directory or the state of Illinois to determine if there is a vendor that's certified that offers the type of goods, commodity, equipment, or services. If there isn't one, they have to provide documentation that, you know, they didn't find any certified vendor, or if there is a certified MBE or WBE vendor, and they choose not to respond and submit a quote, they have to note that as well. And the last category of purchase relates to purchases in excess of $25,000. And so for those, we are going to, you know, issue a bid as appropriate or a request for proposals or request for qualifications. I think I've kind of touched on this, but there's a note here at the bottom that for those purchases under $25,000, vendors will typically work with the various colleges or user departments because you will be submitting your quotes directly to them. Like Chicago Public Schools, in order to do any business with City Colleges of Chicago, you need to be registered as a vendor. So what often happens is that as the colleges or the district office, if they know that they are going to spend $17,000 and it is somewhat of a niche product, we don't have a lot of vendors that we can go into the pool readily and say, we've got these companies and we know that we can ask them to provide a quote. For example, for art supplies, it's something that's a little different. It's an automotive part. It pertains to a specific type of car that Kennedy King College needs. Often in those instances, you will hear from representatives from the college or the district office as appropriate. And they will ask you on the front end to make sure that you go to procurement's website and that you register as a vendor, because what they know and understand is that they want you registered as a vendor first, just in case or in the event that you do choose to respond to an informal bid for that $17,000 purchase. If you do have the lowest bid price, it's important that you're already registered as a vendor so that the process is not impeded and there's no hiccup, and that we can go ahead and complete it and make the purchase as necessary. So speaking of that, more in lines of vendor registration, all vendors are entered into PeopleSoft by procurement services staff. We ask for a minimum of 10 days for entry. Some things that will cause that 10 days to go longer will be that a business, is not registered with the state of Illinois. There is not complete information as it relates to how you want to get paid, whether it's a check or by ACH. There is an attempt to modify the terms and conditions in our vendor application, specifically as it relates to the conditions of purchases. Some of you are probably familiar with the terms and conditions that are on the back of a purchase order by government agencies. City Colleges of Chicago actually includes that as a part of your vendor application, and attempting to modify that will cause delays in the vendor registration process. In addition to the vendor application, in order to obtain a vendor number, you have to complete the economic disclosure statement, which is similar but not as long as the City of Chicago's EDS. Another thing that tends to cause delay is that vendors fail to disclose the interest of any owner that has more than a 7.5% interest. There's the W-9 form, there's the purchase order terms and conditions that I just mentioned, the acknowledgement of our ethics policy, and then the NIGP code. There's a link for vendors who want to receive the ACH payment, and that if there are any changes for existing vendors, there's a form to complete so that we in procurement services can update any changes to address, contact, banking information, etc. And you have the link down here at the bottom of the page of where those vendor forms are available. I'm sorry, I skipped a page there. So some of our upcoming supplier initiatives, we continue to have discussions for vendor alerts for procurement opportunities, and we are planning to do some quarterly workshops. We had hoped to start that in 2021, but the continued COVID has kind of pushed those plans back. We wanted to highlight some current opportunities. Current opportunities are insurance brokerage services. That is actually due April 9th. We have an annual electric repair that's due April 16th. And there's an opportunity for a used 16 plus passenger Class B bus. That's a mouthful. And that's due April 20th. If anyone is interested in any of our current opportunities, we would encourage you to visit, our website that's located on City Colleges of Chicago, I should say procurement's webpage. Just to give you an idea of some other types of purchases that we make, we recently had an award for media services that was awarded at our March 4th board. We had a pool of vendors, ranging from Indigo and Comcast and the Crawford Communications with their various radio stations. Lots of vendors for both print, digital, radio, across the board. We shifted to having a contract with one media service to work with them for our media buying. And that awarded firm will work with other vendors that offer advertising or marketing opportunities. We also just had a constituent relationship management services contract awarded in December. We did a lot last year with IT, not just with CRM, but with our website as well. And most recently, we did a strategic rebranding that was also awarded December 10th. Our board meeting is actually tomorrow. So in addition to the annual electrical repair opportunity that is due April 16th, we also recently did our electrical low voltage that is a job program as well. So that's just to give you an opportunity of some of the types of purchases that City Colleges makes. In addition to IT and the regular supplies and commodities, we make purchases for anything that you can imagine as it would relate to an institution of higher education. Tips for success, we would ask that you review CCC's procurement webpage on a regular basis. On that webpage, you will find our past competitive solicitations. You will also be able to review past board reports, which is also a good way to get a better understanding of the types of purchases that CCC makes. We'd ask you to register as a vendor. The good thing about registering as a vendor is that when someone is looking to get that quote from you, or if there's, any other opportunity, if the purchase is under $2,500, you are ready to go. There's no delay, and that makes you very attractive. To the extent that there is a competitive solicitation in terms of a bid or a RFP, we would encourage you to participate in that pre-bid conference or the pre-proposal conference, even if it is not mandatory. There's nothing like getting the information a second time. You can read it, but hearing about it again just makes you have a better chance of putting your best foot forward. It's also a good networking opportunity if you are looking to provide services, not necessarily at the prime level, but as a subcontractor. And it's a good way for primes to see other subcontractors that are out there as well. Submit all required documents when responding to bids and proposals. And please submit any questions for any competitive solicitations to procurement. One last thing that I just want to mention, and I didn't have it in here, is that I talked about when there is an opportunity for purchases between $2,500 and $25,000 that you have to get, our colleges have to get a quote from an MBE or WBE. And of course, our MBE and WBE requirements apply for any purchase over $25,000. Our goals are 25% MBE and 7% WBE. At this point, those are the goals. We do not currently set contract specific goals. And the certifications that we accept, in addition to City of Chicago, Cook County, State of Illinois, National Minority Supplier Development Council, and WBENC, the Women's Business Enterprise National Council. We will also consider on a case-by-case basis certifications from other states or other major metropolitan areas. And lastly, I've kind of talked about this, but these are some of our commonly purchased services and commodities: cafeteria, marketing, construction, janitorial, building and maintenance, books, no surprise there, trade books, constructions, uniforms, and office supplies. We just talked about the MBE, WBE. And here's just a list of the people that are currently in the procurement department and our director of risk management that we regularly work with when setting insurance requirements for any competitive bid or RFP. Finally, any questions, we just ask that you go to our procurement webpage to get additional information on upcoming solicitations and opportunities. And that's all I have.
All right, great. Well, that brings us to the question and answer portion of today's workshop. So if you have questions, remember you can use the Q&A panel, and we hope that you use the Q&A panel in that area only, so that we can make sure that we capture everyone's question that might have one. So let's get on with the questions. The first question that we have is, I have had many challenges completing the attestation form. Uh, who can I reach out to directly for assistance with this so that our vendor number does not become inactive?
So there should have been on the email that was sent to you with your attestation, there should have been an email address, or there is the CPS, the vendor portal that you can ask questions through. My email address was on the presentation that's going to be sent out to you guys. You can feel free to email me, and I can try to get you some help. There's a lot going on with this attestation process. So feel free to email me, and I will see what I can do to help you out.
All right. And the next question is how, and this is for either one of you, how do you get a contract? I think both of you went over that well, but if you could just give a recap on how your bids are out and what they need to do, I greatly appreciate that.
Sure. So on a high level, the way to get a contract is to respond for CPS is to respond to a solicitation, whether it be a request for proposal, a request for qualifications, a bid solicitation. It all depends on the item that we're trying to procure. All of those solicitations are posted to the CPS procurement website. Anything that is active is under the current contracts open to the public. And then we also have a 6-month buying plan to let you know what is coming in the next 6 months.
And Jacinta?
Similarly to CPS, any upcoming opportunities in terms of bids or RFPs are set forth on the City College's website on procurement's webpage. Additionally, other contracts that are under $25,000, there are opportunities with the district office or the colleges, and you can get those opportunities by reaching out to the colleges, or they will reach out to you to the extent that you're registered as a vendor and they know that your registration is active and that you offer the types of goods, services, or commodities that they're looking for.
Okay, thank you. And I'm sorry, did someone else have a comment? Okay. The next question, I'm going to go to another question now. It says, I'm a new person to the public procurement side of things. And this person was wondering if there was a reason why the MBE participation goals are different between sister agencies, because CCC has a 25% gold and CPS has a 30% gold. Is this number controlled or managed by each entity? So both of you can take a short time to explain that.
That's a good question as to why they're different. They are controlled by each entity. So, and at CPS, we have an Office of Business Diversity. I know most of the sister agencies have a similar office, and the goals are set by those offices individually.
Okay.
So generally, goals are set based upon a disparity study and a review. So our spend is not going to be as big as CPS or some of the others. So based upon ready, willing, and available contractors, it's a U.S. Supreme Court precedent that you look at, and you have to develop your program in line of that precedent and disparity study, which is why different agencies have different goals.
All right. Are there any additional questions that might be out there? And while we're waiting to see if there are additional questions.
I see one that asks about various trades, if they're for services only or for products and items.
Yes, you want to take that? I just saw that.
Yeah. It's for services only. It's a true trades pool, at least for CPS. It's a true trades pool, so it's comprised of electricians and plumbers and masons, things like that. There are no products that are procured through that pool.
Are there any additional questions? We'll give a few seconds for that because somebody might be typing something in. So I want to make sure that we get everybody's questions. But I will say thank you to the guest speakers, Jen Ostafinsky and Jacinta Epting. I want to thank them so much from their entities of coming and presenting today. It has been wonderful in hearing the opportunities and where each of the departments are going as far as procurement is concerned. And like they said, this is just one aspect of getting information from them. They also have websites and alert lists and such that you can get on. That is the purpose, I want to say, of the buying guide, is that you can go through there and see what businesses really pertain to the work that you do or the work that your business is around, and then target those agencies or those departments, and get on their list because they also have webinars exclusively for some of the opportunities they are presenting here today. And you can get more information and able to drill down and, in some instances, talk to, some of the members that actually handle those contracts. So I will say to our two guest speakers, thank you so much for participating today. And thank the participants for coming and asking wonderful questions. And we hope to see you at another workshop soon. I say in my closing all the time, go get your vaccination wherever you can when it is your turn. And I think for all adults, it's your turn now. Stay safe, wear your mask, social distance, wash your hands, and hopefully we will see you sometime soon down in City Hall. Thank you so much for participating today and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.